Hey guys, welcome back to the Girlfriends and Goals podcast YouTube channel. My name is Samaria, and I am joined by my best friend and co-host, Miosha. And today we're reviewing Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 18.
Uh-huh.
But before we get into that, please make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and of course, meet us in the comments. Comment as much as you would like on this week's episode. All right. Let's start with Chris and Nicole. I don't have too much on them. Uh,
Yeah, other than the whole pineapple conversation, he said he hasn't felt the need to have to use it yet.
mhm.
I feel like a couple of times he could have. So I don't know if it's just he's still tiptoeing or he really feels like, okay, we can put that to rest and just have adult conversations.
You know, what's funny to me is that she was saying, and I didn't, lose my cool. I still had fun. And then these shady producers or editors, the shady editors showed the clip of her clearly losing it. I thought that was so funny. But yeah, I don't know. There's not much on them. They finally showed the clip with her dad saying, "Why are you staying married to this loser?" And it wasn't even related to that. Like he was saying, he's not a loser, so if he were, that's what I would say, but he's not, so you
Mhm.
can stay married to him. So yeah, all this season we waited for that little clip for nothing.
Yeah, I think next week more will come into question about if he's leaning towards saying yes or kind of where he is. I don't know with these two. I feel like everything is PG and I don't know.
I feel like they're gonna say yes, but someone actually left a comment that
Hmm.
was saying, okay, Chris seems to be handling this reasonably. He just wants them to get through the process and then start to look. And she's trying to use this as a way to like make sure he's gonna say yes. So I think that's the issue. Which
Well, if he already signed a 9-month lease, I don't understand what the pressure is when there's 5 days left. So the
mm,
way they were making it seem was that, oh, well, he renewed his lease for another 9 months. Did she renew hers? I don't know. I'm leaning towards she's
he
getting
probably did.
antsy. And either if she didn't resign her lease, then it's like, oh, where am I going to live? But I don't know. I'm leaning towards she just wants to make sure they're on the same page about saying yes or no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's fair. I understand that she's antsy and wants to know. I probably would too, but she's kind of getting ahead of herself, maybe. Uh
Hmm.
yeah, or maybe she is confident that they're gonna say yes, and she's like, okay, I at least want to know that we have a plan after that. Who knows? But yeah, she seems very unsettled. That's why I don't want to like dismiss it.
Hmm.
So okay. Anything else on them?
No. Yeah. The pineapples are gone. That's it.
He talked to a friend and said that he recenters her. And
Hmm.
when the friend asked what she could be doing better, Chris said something about she's always like questioning, which probably is again, like we talked about, what's going on with their house situation.
Was
So
it a friend or was that his brother? Or did I write it down completely wrong?
you were probably right. You're probably right.
It's fine. I was just like, dang, was I that far off? Y'all let us know in the comments. Clearly,
I
we're,
think I don't remember. But
yeah.
you want to do Jasmine and Eris next?
Yeah, let's go to them.
Mr. Foot Massage.
Finally, he does something
The,
reciprocating. So,
where was this when she was giving you a massage in Jamaica? Like, where was this? So he thanked her for the weekend, that she made it like really seamless, and that, it could have been a lot worse if she weren't herself. So
hmm.
that's how it kind of started out. And then the next time we saw them was at the class, right? The strip class that she
Hmm.
went to with Gina.
Yeah. So one thing that he said on it was the bed scene. He
Mhm.
says, I want you to keep speaking up. That's when you're the best version of yourself. Is that okay?
Okay, to be fair, it is something that she needs to do more. Like we have seen her just kind of not speak up. So I am glad that she's doing it. Um, is it the when she's the best version of herself? I don't think so. Especially when she's having to speak up about basic things that you would do if you just were interested in somebody. But I am
That's
glad
what I'm
that
saying. The full situation, I
yeah.
think under normal circumstances, I would say, okay, yeah, continue to speak up. And
Hmm.
but under these circumstances where it's like, oh, is he attracted? He acts like he half doesn't want to be here.
Yeah.
Speak up and say what? Like she said, he's been so hot and cold. I don't know if it was that. I think it was one of her confessional cams in that scene where she's like, oh, well, he's been so hot or cold. I don't know where he is
Hmm.
in this whole thing. So I think even though she could you step up more, I feel like she's handled it in a good way
Yeah.
because that space hasn't been there and these aren't normal circumstances. So
So they went to this pole dance class, and I know we're not on Gina and Clint yet, but Gina wore her least sexy shoes. She was like, I'm just doing this for filming. I'm not trying to make anything happen in my marriage. So I'm gonna wear these little booties. That's what y'all gonna get out of me. I was just like, why would she wear those shoes?
maybe
Um,
she was going for maximum comfort. Or it's maybe it was her first class and she didn't want to risk, spraining her ankle. She does stand up
no,
for a living.
but I
So,
feel like in those shoes, if you're doing all that twisting and turning, you're more likely to twist your ankle in booties than just regular heels.
girl, I don't know.
Anyway.
But she did try to twerk a little something. She did.
Okay, that was just my first comment on the stripping thing. Obviously they went through that, and then Eris comes. I don't really have much to say about this.
Other than that's when he lights up, when it's about intimacy, sex, and that's when he knows how to make eye contact and seem engaging. Okay, we know how you feel about sex. We've been hearing this the whole time, but
Yeah.
it was nice to see Jasmine. She looked great. She was smiling. She liked the attention. So I was happy for her in that she enjoyed herself in that energy.
Okay.
But that's about it.
All right. So then we have the foot massage, and then the reading with the medium. That's the part I want to get to. Well, the last time we saw a medium on this show, was it Jasmina and Michael?
So a
Okay.
season ago, I guess they figured they
Yeah.
had to bring it back.
It just I feel like the medium is always wasted on the couple that everybody knows isn't gonna work, even though they said yes on decision day for God knows what reason. But yeah, I just felt like it was deja vu a little bit.
It was, but also in that, like, oh, this really isn't gonna work. It confirmed it for me when I saw that they were meeting with the medium. It sent me back to Jasmina and Michael, and I was like, oh, well, there's confirmation that
Yeah,
this for sure isn't gonna work. They didn't send any other couple,
couples.
so
Right, I would have loved to hear what the medium had to say about Shaq and Kirsten, or
or
like
Nicole and Chris.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wonder how much the mediums know beforehand. But you don't think they know anything?
It just felt that she was just saying everything to encourage them to try harder, stay together. No.
You don't think they know? Okay. Well, I will say this. I agreed with the medium when she said that Eris wishes Jasmine well, because I think he does wish her well, not with him, but like, I
Yeah.
don't think he wants anything. I think he thinks she's a cool person, and wouldn't wish any ill on her, especially after she's made this process really easy for him.
Mhm.
It hasn't been demanding or anything like that. So I agreed with that part. Why are you making those faces?
If he wished her well, he would have bowed out sooner. That's what I think. Instead of
Mm,
wasting this woman's time. She could have found her husband by now out there. Time
that is
wasted.
so funny.
If you
'Cause
wish her well, stop playing games, stop being hot or cold, stop sending mixed signals.
yeah,
Bow out
Unrelated.
gracefully. The attraction isn't there, and that's it.
But there are things about like fees that they have for not trying. So maybe he felt like he had to. But just to something that you said, I actually just took a screenshot of this and I wanted to read it because it was related. But it says, the longer you entertain what's not for you, the longer you postpone what is. And that's exactly what it's been for Jasmine during this process.
Yeah, it's 2 months of her time plus follow up, filming that they have to
Oh
do.
yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that he's malicious, but I think there's just been a lot of mixed signals. And yeah, I would have preferred if he would have just been honest. That I could accept as, oh, he wishes her well.
He
Then let
was
this woman
honest. He
move
just didn't
along.
make he was honest. He just didn't make any decisions based off of his honesty. Like he was honest
Mhm.
and then stayed in position. Or
Okay.
I guess maybe when Dr. Pepper, was it Dr. Pepper who asked
Mm.
them last time if they felt like they needed to continue and then he said yes, so maybe that was dishonest.
Yes, he had an
Okay,
out.
I stand corrected.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so other things that the medium said, she said his great grandmother is
Mm.
calling out to him from the deep, from the great beyond, and
Some of some
telling him,
grandbabies.
stay out these streets. You don't need to go back to the streets, which sucks because that's exactly where Eris is trying to be.
Hmm.
I thought that was so funny that even the ancestors are calling out for him to stay out of the street. Oh, but he's not gonna listen, so whatever.
Mm-mm. No, he's not ready. The medium suggested he wasn't ready, and for Jasmine to be patient.
She's been patient
No.
enough.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
For what?
She's been patient enough. And when the medium said that, Jasmine said something like, well, you come in knowing what you want, but then you just at some point have to accept what it is. And I think that's exactly what she's had to do. And they don't need to be like giving her false hope. They don't need to be encouraging her to stay and be patient. Like, yes, he could be a good man. Yes, I'm sure he requires patience. All of us
Mhm.
do, but it doesn't have to be from Jasmine. It needs to be from somebody who he's into and who he's willing to show effort for.
And and she, I'm sure, already feels that pressure to try because she's married.
Mhm.
So it's not just a dating
Yeah,
experiment. She's already signed the paperwork.
legally
She's
married.
in. Yeah. So, well,
I think that's all that I had on those two.
yeah, that's all I had. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
it.
I feel bad for Eris's great grandma who's trying to rest in peace, and Jasmine's the first girl that she's liked, but he don't like. Okay,
Mm.
Clint and Gina.
Mm. One thing the medium said, I was like,
Hmm.
oh, maybe they have been giving her some notes. She said Eris is still trying to find out who he is.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if that's contributing to the games that he's been playing, but maybe there is just more self-discovery there that needs to happen. And that's when he'll need to, or he'll feel the yearning to actually settle down. So,
Hmm. I don't know. Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know that I think he needs to discover himself. I think he knows who he is. And maybe just needs to find the person that aligns with him. That's what
Mm.
I think. I think he knows. I think he knows who
But what if he aligns with the streets? Then that's a person that,
he is. No,
oh my
I
gosh.
think Eris wants to settle down at some point, but it just has to be someone who he has that attraction to and who likes the same things that he likes, no matter
Okay.
how shallow they might be.
Mm.
So, okay, Clint and Gina.
Mm-hmm.
All
Gina,
right,
Gina,
so
Gina.
all right, so we see Clint and Hank hanging out. Obviously, they're boys at this point. And then Clint meets up with McKinley, who I forgot was even on this season. And McKinley has a whole lot to say about, Clint's an attractive man and Gina's attractive too. I thought that she thought I was good looking, and I definitely thought she was like McKinley.
I felt bad for Clint in that moment because I'm like, you're dealing with a snake in the garden and you have no idea.
I don't think
No
Clint's gonna
idea.
care.
I
You
don't think he's
will.
going to care, but just the optics of it and just why? Why meet up with Clint knowing? I mean, even from the honeymoon, he was commenting how Gina looks. So it's been brewing for a minute. And obviously, Clint hasn't seen the footage, so he has no idea. And that's why I felt bad for him. Not that he's going to care if they get together, but more so, you're being chummy with this guy
Yeah.
and he wants the woman that you're married to.
I feel like I feel like Clint is a very sensitive man. Like his feelings can get hurt easily.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see that like later on. But I just feel like with this whole McKinley situation, I don't see him feeling the way that we feel about it.
Okay.
I feel
Yeah.
like of all the things, he'll probably be able to brush that off quicker
Mm-hmm.
than Gina calling him a ginger and her saying the things that she said at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
Um
McKinley, why? Just
and he's showing up on next week's episode too. Listen, he said, I'm gonna get my screen time. I'm getting my screen time. I'm leaving here with something. Have you seen
what
that
he
Joe's?
he specifically said, I wish I was matched with Gina.
Yes, exactly. He
I
got the
mean,
spirit of a
but at the same time, it's
champion.
like you don't really know her. So
Doesn't know her at all.
what are you going off of other than the physical? It could have been a disaster too, because I'm not getting the vibe that it would have been reciprocated from her.
So Keisha Knight Pulliam did ask her about it on the after party. Did you think he
Hmm.
was handsome? And she's like, I mean, I think he's great. I think everybody on the cast is great. So again, no indication that it's, gonna be
Yeah.
reciprocated. So
Well,
he gets a haircut. Clint gets a haircut, and it looks good. I didn't like it when it was first done, but definitely by the time they were sitting with Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal when he had it like in his face a little bit more, I liked that. So
I don't know. I just he looked fine the way that he was. It wasn't a huge difference. I think for me, I just don't like how much emphasis has been put on changing the way that he looks.
mhm.
It just keeps coming back up. Oh, your hair and this and that. It's just if the roles were reversed, she would be big mad in her feelings, I
She was
think.
big mad in her feelings.
Well,
Yeah.
she was, yeah. But
Hmm.
she's taken it a step further by following up. And I think he's going along and he's being a good sport.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not here for it. Leave this man the way that he is. You're not interested in him in that way. And so it's pointless. Leave him the way that you found him. It's just the
Hmm.
way I feel about it. Like, just leave him the way you found him. Let it go. Stop talking about this man's physical appearance. And you follow up by talking about his personality as well. So just leave Clint alone. That's how I feel about it. Just leave him alone. You don't like him, that's fine.
Oh, and then she's like, "Oh, senior swag is back." No, girl, he told you senior swag has been there. Okay.
Right. He's always been that. Let him be that guy. She wouldn't be able to handle it or take this kind of attention and heat.
Yeah.
So why give it to him? And I feel like because she's a woman, she's given a lot of grace when it comes to talking about his physical appearance.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. So Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper show up. I'm actually
Mm-hmm.
excited to see the rest of their visit. But it's only
Mm-hmm.
5 days or so, less than a week away from decision day. So I don't know what they were really there to do. But they asked, how have y'all been intentional? And I don't like how Clint was the one doing the most of the talking. Like, I appreciate him. I appreciate him as a man doing that because I know he understands they're going to give them a lot of like feedback for not being as intentional as they should have been. So I think he was trying to maybe take the pressure off of her a little bit and do the talking so that there wasn't much of an attack. But I would have loved to hear what Gina had to say about how they've been intentional, because I don't think she has. And
She
I
kept
guess
her mouth shut until
the
she,
entire time, until
yeah.
she attacked Clint. Like, and that's what I
Hmm.
didn't like. Like, he was clearly trying to represent them as a couple and protect them as a pair. I shouldn't even say couple, but as a
Hmm.
pair. And yeah, and she just kind of like made him made him look bad, because in that moment it doesn't seem like he was defending himself. He was so caught off guard by it that I don't think he could have like defended himself.
Oh yeah, he was a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Whoa, where
And
is this coming from? My personality is bizarre. What is that even to say about somebody?
especially when you haven't said it to him before. Like, you've been acting like his personality is fine. Like, all the things that she said to us as the audience, she's never said to him. And so I could see why that would hurt anybody's feelings.
And I think it goes back to if she was being, I think, genuine about this process and her feelings, there's a way to communicate, hey, you said this and made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Would you mind saying
So
it differently?
yeah.
So, as much energy as she brought with talking about his physical appearance, she could have bought some energy to say, hey, I don't like this. I like that.
Hmm.
But she didn't. She waited until the very end. I think, if anything, she may have thought that this would maybe start to justify why she's going to say no on decision day. But I
Yeah.
think it made her look really bad by taking this route of kind of deflecting from herself, talking about how she's never felt like a wife, no accountability there, which we saw in the beginning of the season where there was no accountability for what went down on the honeymoon. So that no accountability energy has just continued.
And another thing that I didn't like, because it's a lot, but another thing that I didn't like, so she said, he hasn't done any pursuing, like he hasn't initiated certain things. And two things about that. First, with the cooking dinner, she says, "Oh, well, I think Clint would do that for anybody." So it didn't seem like, "Oh, this is my wife, so I'm going to cook for her." He would do that for Kirsten or Shaq or Eris or anybody else. And it's like, okay, if you cared about him, you would realize that this is his way of giving love or of giving
Mm.
care. And so I guess she was saying that it's really about him impressing people, not about, oh, I care about Gina, so I'm gonna do this. But even then, like, I doubt that he's cooking every night for Eris and Shaq and Kirsten. Like, he's doing this
Mm.
consistently for you, and that's just one of his ways of showing love. Does he enjoy it? Does he want people to be impressed by it? Yes, but it's still a way that he takes care of the people around him. And so I thought she could have been a little bit more appreciative of that. And even if she felt like it was just about him, being impressive to himself or being impressive to others, then she should have said, "Hey, I appreciate you cooking." A long time ago, "I appreciate you cooking, but, you know, to feel like a wife, I would also like it if you did XYZ things." But she never even gave him that chance. So that was
Yeah.
the first thing. I'll wait until you finish to say the second thing.
No, I agree with everything that you said. I also think that a person taking the lead and making sure you have nourishment and that's something off of your plate. You're both working all day.
Mhm.
So not the, oh, for Saturday we're hosting people, the day to day. You have to eat every single day.
Yeah.
And so I do think that that is a way of him showing care and concern for her. Like, hey, you have a home cooked meal. You don't have to eat out. You don't got to spend extra money. I know you've been busy working all day. I'm going to take this piece off of your plate. And it's like the last thing most people have to do at the end of the day. So I don't know. I took it as he was showing care for her, not on the weekends only where he could show off, but just the Monday through Friday, we have to eat every day. And if you take that on yourself, unless you're just eating out, it does require energy to
Hmm.
do it. It's much easier to call Uber Eats, but it's
Yeah,
not as healthy. So yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
For me, the second thing was just that they kept on asking Gina, okay, so what could he do for you that would make you feel like, oh, I'm a wife? And her response was really annoying to me because she's like, oh, I don't know what he could have done, but I know that he wasn't intentional. And so it's like, okay, so if he would have been intentional, is that what you would have wanted? And she still couldn't say, like, yes, you know? So it's like, I don't want to tell you how this could have worked. But what I am going to do is tell you all the reasons why it didn't. When really it never would have worked. Like, why are you over
It wouldn't
here?
have been enough.
Right, making it seem like there was anything that he could have done, even if he had been intentional, which I think he was with his cooking and with taking care of Hank and all of that. Like, even if he did all the things, you still wouldn't like him. So instead of just being honest and saying, I don't think there was anything because the attraction was off and I don't like his personality now that I know more of it, she's just like, oh, well, I don't know, but he just wasn't intentional. I'm glad he wasn't. Like if he had not been, I would have been even more happy
Yeah.
because we actually see him trying and her not like accepting it.
And I will say the first thing he said was, "Hey, well, yeah, I could have done more, but I didn't know." The first thing he expresses is accountability.
Mhm.
His piece in this whole thing. I'd also like to add, looking back,
Mhm.
she didn't even want to move in. I don't think that there was any point where she showed him the green light that
Yes.
you should give me husband energy.
Right. Right. He's been stuck in not even the friend zone, the acquaintance zone.
Yeah, he's been stuck there. So she would have been better off just saying the attraction wasn't there and that's it, not trying to besmirch him, this whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did she say? It was a personality mismatch. Why are we just hearing this?
Why is he just hearing this?
Why
Like,
is he just hearing this? It was almost like she was holding on. Maybe she has been feeling it and was
oh,
like, oh, I've
absolutely.
had this in my back pocket. And then boom, now I'm going to play my cards.
And you know what? I feel like it's an aware, like she's just very unaware of how things are coming off because she did this on the honeymoon too, where she was just like going on and on and on about his looks. And it's like, it at no point did it seem like it registered to her, hey, you're hurting this man's feelings. And then now again to like blindside him, it's like you are just so not aware of like you're ignoring every single social cue. And then Pastor Cal was like, oh, like from your body language, you guys seem comfortable. There was so much space in between them. The only body language that was suggestive of, oh, I'm comfortable or this is a
Mm-hmm.
relationship was Clint's hand being on the couch. Like Gina was
Mm-hmm.
like kind of turned away from him a little bit. And so yeah, I hated that for him. And I think he's probably gonna hold on to that for a while because in the next
Mm-hmm.
episode he talks about feeling betrayed, and I don't think it's about McKinley. I think it's about Gina never saying, hey, can you calm down, or I think you're being a little too wild, or whatever. I think it's about her not saying those things, and so he feels like, hey, I've been good to you. Like, yeah, we haven't been romantic, but I've been good to you. Why would you not tell me these things and then just embarrass me in front of the experts? And now I haven't even had a chance to think about what you're saying so that I could react. So yeah.
And why even say it to begin with, knowing the physical attraction wasn't there?
Yeah.
Why even say it other than to try to spin the narrative to make it seem like, oh, well, the marriage didn't work because all of the things that he didn't do.
Right.
Have you ever made him feel like a husband? See, this is where I needed Clint to step up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe he did say it and we just didn't see it on the final edit, but I really wanted him to rebuttal and say, hey, well, I haven't felt like a husband.
But
But I think, Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was gonna say she did say, "Oh well, and that could be because he maybe didn't feel like a husband." It was thrown in there gingerly.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
little bit of accountability she's willing to take.
I didn't like that. I felt bad for Clint. Especially I remember when Shaq on one of the after parties was like, with her talking about his hair and him being a ginger, like knowing Clint, that really cut him deep because he's like so confident and he loves his hair and he loves probably all the things about himself. And so
As he should.
right, as he should. We love them too, Clint. um, but yeah, it I could understand how he felt really hurt by that. Poor
Yeah,
Clint.
Gina, you tried it.
She did.
She really did. But yeah, that I feel like that was all I have.
On that. Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Now to Kirsten and Shaq.
Mm, mm,
All
mm.
right. So we started out, I think, with Kirsten and her
Her
brother.
brother.
Okay. I'll tell you this. From that sit down, I felt like her brother wasn't gonna make it to the party at the house. Like he really talked a good talk though. He was like, we want to make him feel welcome and all of that. I was like, he ain't gonna show up. He's like, I already took off time to do this recording with you, and now you want me to show up to the party? Girl, I gotta make my money. So
Yeah.
but I did enjoy their conversation. I think he asked her a question that was like, "What do you mean about intentional conversations?" And I love
Mm-hmm.
that question because I wish Shaq would ask that to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he's just like, she feels like we doesn't talk. She feels like we don't talk. Not you
Mm-hmm.
not knowing grammar. Um, she feels like we don't talk. But it's like, what kind of conversations is she trying to have with you? Because those you guys might talk, but are y'all talking?
And I think it's on both of them. He needs to ask her exactly what do you mean, but she also needs to express more because it seemed that she was more expressive with her brother about what
Hmm.
she meant by intentional conversations, and it may have been because the brother asked. So it's on both sides where y'all just need to start talking more. But yeah, she goes on to say that she doesn't feel like he's trying to win her over.
Mhm.
Remember, I said he was checked out. He never checked back in.
Yes, but that's also not fair to her. Like,
Mm-mm.
okay, I'll get to the clips later, but yeah. So she said he's not showing her that he likes her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then her brother asked, "Do you feel like there's anything you need to fix?" And she brought up the whole family thing because I do think that's huge. Like, I don't know if I were in a situation where, like, say we're dating and
Mm-hmm.
you done met all my people and I haven't met any of your people, like I could understand feeling a type of way. So I am glad that that's something that she acknowledged and maybe tried to organize like a family thing um that ended up just being her mom. But hey, I hope he saw that attempt, which it doesn't seem like he did, honestly.
So I'm jumping ahead because I'm being impatient. I want to know, in your opinion, do you think that she's being truthful about it being a scheduled thing? One, option one. Two, is it her in that there's some feelings of I don't know where this is going to go, so I don't want to introduce him, or three, is it what Shaq alluded to in that maybe her family just isn't as supportive or available or interested uh in coming around in that way, like his version of close knit is different than her version of close
Right.
knit.
I
So
think
which one
that's
do you think it is?
so I think it's actually one and two.
Mm,
So her brother says something like, "Oh, I know you want to make sure it's the right person before you bring him to daddy." And
mm-hmm,
so I do think a little bit of that is coming into play, but also I think it could possibly be schedules. And she said something on the after party. She said that her dad wasn't going to film. Like, that's just not something he was going to do anyway, like be on camera. So I wonder if that is playing into this as well. I wonder if he maybe doesn't approve of it. Like, he's supportive, but doesn't want all the like attention or whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's both of them. And honestly, I don't fault her. Like the way he's being wishy-washy right now, I would be hesitant to like be all in with my family.
Yeah, and the fourth option would be it's him, and that I mean, they both are on the fence. They don't know if they're going to say yes,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I think it's all four.
Yeah, I think also, I mean, she did invite one of her cousins over earlier in the season. So I
Mhm.
think maybe if she were bringing him around more cousins and stuff, maybe that might help. But yeah, I do think it's a mix of things. And I would
Mhm.
understand her hesitancy based on where they are right now, especially if her dad's approval means that much to her.
Mhm.
I might hold off as well.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother conversation around parents approving, of your spouse, and we don't even have to get into all that, but
Mm.
yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
I She thinks she thinks so highly of her dad,
Mm.
and so I can only guess that her thinking so highly of him makes her put a lot of like stock in what his opinion is about the person she's bringing through. And if you're not 100% with the person you're bringing around,
Mhm. On top of your parent maybe not being, yeah.
completely on board, like it's one thing if I'm 100% confident, it doesn't matter what you are saying. But if
Mhm.
I'm still on the fence, I'm not even gonna expose myself to to being, like criticized by someone
Yeah,
whose opinion really does matter to me. So
and unnecessary drama. You on the front lines fighting for someone
we just got
that
a
you
divorce.
sometime me about.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Uh,
understand. Maybe if she would have brought her mom and brother, like the people who had been at the wedding, around more often, this wouldn't be a thing. Like
mhm.
she should have found a compromise maybe earlier so that he wasn't
Mhm.
so fixated on, I don't know your family like that. But also, everybody's closeness isn't your closeness. Like I know I'm close to my family, but when I talk to other people who say they're close to their family, it's completely
Mhm.
different vibes. And I really hated that he criticized them so deeply because just because they're not so, I don't want to say intrusive because I don't want to suggest that his family is, but just because they're not so intrusive, that doesn't mean that they don't support her. They could be more
Mhm.
supportive, like, okay, we trust you, you got it, do your thing. As opposed to,
Yeah.
well, I need to be calling and I need to talk to him. Like, it's not my husband, it's yours, So
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't like
Yeah.
that he criticized her family like that. I was like, chill, bruh.
Yeah, closeness means different for different families, and it came across a little judgy
Very.
because it's out of her control. You can't choose your family and what their closeness will or won't be, and that can evolve and change over time. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah.
So he talked to his friend and he said he's at a 6 or 7 mentally. And he feels like they're both growing, but are they growing together? And honestly, if you have to ask, y'all probably not. But so they're not growing together. Uh,
Yeah.
I like that his friend said, "Oh, this is a lifetime journey." I don't know.
One thing I wanted to bring up about that
Mhm.
conversation is that Shaq, this is the first time I've heard him verbalize that he's trying to balance a lot of things.
Yeah.
We've last week you talked about it, but this is the first time that he's saying it.
Hmm.
And even her brother brought up, like, hey, he has his fingers in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You may be just getting the scraps of him. So, yeah, it's not fair to her, but,
No.
it's something that he probably should have thought about before signing up for
Yeah.
this process.
So I think when she came in from her lunch with her brother, he was making dinner. So I thought
Mhm.
that was sweet. And then he asked her, "Well,
Mhm.
why do you think it's taken a while for us to have your family over?" And I was just like, at this point, you've commented enough on this. Like she's doing it. You have to know when to let things go. They actually talked about this on the after party too. Like he'll hold on to things. Like so you have to let things go. Like she's moving in the direction you would like her to. So just allow her to do that without the pressure of, well, why didn't you do it sooner? Okay, I'm doing it now. I've accepted your criticism. I'm applying your feedback. Let me do
Yeah.
it. I would
I
have been
think
more.
I think the family dynamic and access to them is a big deal for Shaq. Maybe
Mhm.
bigger than what he's communicated.
Maybe bigger than what he even knows. Like,
Maybe, yeah.
he's
I
expecting
think
them to
it's a
be his family.
huge, yeah, I think it's a huge deal for him. And I think because he said a few episodes ago, well, oh, I'm not gonna bring it up no more. I'm not gonna be begging to ask to meet someone's family. But here you are
Bringing
bringing
it
it up again because I think it's really getting to him. Also, I think he wants to understand the family that he's going to marry into. And I
That's
think for
fair.
some people, extended family that they're marrying into is a bigger deal than for other people.
Yeah.
And so I think he's trying to get a gauge of, okay, what am I signing up for? What are the dynamics here? If we he even brought up children, if we have kids, what does that dynamic look? What does it look like?
Mhm.
And I think it's a big deal for him and it's hitting him. I think he wants to have a fuller picture before decision day. And that's why he's bringing it back up. Is it that people ain't really that supportive? Is it you? Is it me? I want to understand what this is before I say yay or nay.
So I think another thing, and I don't remember if she said this on the after party or during the episode, but apparently his family isn't there. Like, they're not in Nashville. And so I wonder if in his head, okay, well, my wife's family's here. That's going to be my family. Like, that thing that I'm missing in my own family because of distance, I'll be able to get it here. So I wonder if he's just expecting too much. Like, you can't create your in-laws. Like, this isn't build a family, you can't create what you see in your head with people who've been living with each other for 30 or however many years. Kirsten's family's been a family.
But
But
I think that's what he wants to have visibility to of, okay, if I say yes, what does this family dynamic look like? Especially if I plant roots here. Because, like
mm-hmm.
I said, for some people, it's, oh, I want my in laws to be around and be close, and the expectations are wherever they are. And I think it's hitting him, but I think he needs to find a better way of communicating that.
Yeah.
And I understand it. I mean, I would kind of be the same way of like, okay, I'm not saying your in-laws have to be, or my in-laws have to be XYZ, but I at least want to understand
Hmm.
what the dynamics are that
Yeah.
I'm merging into.
She said something on the after party like this. She said, when I tell him what it is, it's like he doesn't believe me. And I get it. I get both sides. I get why he's not believing her, because he's like, dang, how busy can someone's schedule be? or how busy could your family schedule be? So I get why he's not believing her, but it seems like it's stuff that really is out of, like, if they say to her, oh, I have to work, I can't come, what is she supposed to tell you except it's a schedule thing, So
You know what I think it is too? If you live out of town from your family,
yes.
but you're still really, really close, where it's like nothing for you to get on the flight, do what you need to
Hmm.
do, and you're talking all the time. I have that dynamic with my family.
Yeah.
I think it's unfathomable that you would live in the same place
And not
and that
always
you wouldn't maybe make the time or make it a higher priority. Not
around.
that everything has to be a priority, but this is a unique process. So I think for him, it's he can't imagine my people are right here
Hmm. Hmm.
and we go 2 months and
We
we
haven't seen
can't
each other.
seem to get this together. So I think it's just so far reaching for him
Yeah.
because of the dynamic that he has with his family. And a lot of people assume, oh, just because you don't live close, that you don't have that super closeness with your
Right.
family, and just like how much people are willing to get on a flight or drive to maintain that closeness.
Hmm.
But either way, it's out of her control. If I mean, that's her family. So I don't know what he's expecting her to do. And because both of them are 1 foot in, 1 foot out, part of me is like, all right, Shaq, even you are on the fence right now. But I think because he was
Yeah.
willing to bring her in the fold so close with his family, he's expecting maybe that same level. Would he feel different if they had more phone conversations, more FaceTiming? It's like, dang,
That's what he said.
you ain't show dad on FaceTime at least.
Well, she did say that at this point she had called her dad on the phone with Shaq there. I think they were in the car or something like that. But I want to move us
Mm-mm.
forward because when they
Okay,
were in the
yeah.
kitchen before her mom got there, she had the conversation of, I feel like you don't even like me. Like when you come home, I don't feel like you're happy to be here. And of course, the editors were like, we're going to put some footage in.
Roll it.
We're going to run the
Shaq,
clip.
Shaq, what you been doing?
And that's exactly like that was so when he came in, I think in the first clip, she's like, you want me to make you some like salmon and broccoli or something? Like you want me to
Mhm.
fix your plate? And he's like, I'm fine, and went on the balcony. And then the second time she's on the couch and like she lifts her head up when he comes in and she's like, so like how was your day? Like asking him questions. And then he goes in the room. So it's like, okay, well, if this is how you've been acting, Shag, we can't be on the front line defending you if this is how you're treating her. Like we're all gonna call her out for being slow at the beginning and for like mentioning your age and you being bald and all of those things. That was definitely her fault. But that was the very first week of the marriage, maybe the first 2 weeks of the marriage. Like we
And
can't be.
since then, y'all have been intimate, you have progressed. You should know each other a lot more. But what did he say? He took the walls that she had, the bricks, and he built his own wall.
Yeah. But and I guess he didn't know that he was doing that. But yeah, she said on the after party it feels like he holds on to things so long, and
Mm.
so she feels like he's not able to let things go and move forward. And I feel like
Hmm.
that's my favorite thing about like long-term relationships is being able to
You.
be like, okay, we resolved this, you know, on to the next thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, if he's not able to do that, then it's not gonna work long term, and maybe he's not ready for a committed relationship like this. Um, so, but
Yeah.
I did like his response to it though. He said, we've never had a conversation about this, so I didn't know you felt like that. I appreciated him saying that as opposed to maybe being defensive, like, oh well, I got a lot on my plate, I got a lot going on, because he easily could have, but he didn't. And hopefully he heard her feedback and is going to take it seriously. uh, Moving on.
Yeah. I do wonder though. So he's in the relationship too. And I understand having a lot on your plate. But if he didn't see a problem with the way things have been going, that makes me question,
Mm,
is he into her? Like she said, they're lacking the physical, the spark.
yeah.
Just so if she's having to bring it to your attention what we saw, then I wonder, okay, Shaq, are you really into her or do y'all just look good together? But what is something should be pulling you to her,
Hmm.
and she shouldn't have to bring up like, hey dude, we haven't connected or
Yeah.
talked, or you almost want it to come naturally without her having to say something.
Yeah.
Ugh, dang.
I don't know. He does have a lot on his plate. She feels like he has so many things going on. I think she repeated that on the after party. He has his hand in so many different things. He has so much going on that he isn't giving me what I need. So
Yeah.
the mom comes in. First of all, her mom is always lost. Like they always looking for her mom.
I for a second I'm like, now if this mom doesn't come,
That's what I thought was happening. I was like, is she sure the mom's coming? Like, is she pulling out last minute? But just like the wedding, she showed up just in the nick of time.
oh my gosh, my nerves would be so bad. Oh my
And then it's okay. It's almost like there's an expectation of her mom to do this, because at the wedding, remember when her mom came in, she wasn't even stressed about it. She was just like, "Oh, hey, mama," It wasn't like, "Oh, I didn't even know if you would be here, girl." No, she's like, "Oh, hey, mom," like it was just a
This is a
regular Tuesday.
this is how it goes. Whew.
So she said, I don't know if her mom is from the South or what, I don't know, but she's like, my mom
Mhm.
be lost in the South or something, she said on the after party. So I don't know if maybe she
Mm.
moved away and came back or what it is.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just thought that was funny. Every time we see her mom,
Mama, we gonna come pick you up the next time.
okay,
We just gonna meet
we're
you
gonna
at the house.
send you an Uber.
Yeah.
uh, what did you think of? I like her mom's vibe though. Like
Mhm.
she held them in a hug for like ever.
Mhm.
And then,
Yeah.
I liked the advice that she gave, like, hold on, I wrote down something she said because it was so funny to me. She was like, "I wanted him to do it like this. He's not. I wanted her to say it like
Mhm.
this. She's not."
He's not.
She said the love grows from living, not expecting. And I thought that was good specifically for their situation because it seems like they have a lot of expectations. Someone in our comments, sorry, I'm not remembering anybody's like names right now, but someone in our
Mhm.
comments was like, I think both of them are really needy.
Yes, yes, I agree. They both were self-proclaimed picky people. So
Yeah.
I don't know that we could be surprised that they have these very, I don't want to say high, but they have their expectations.
Hmm.
But it's hard because they're so new. This process is unique. And it's like you can't expect people to just know you inside and out and they
Hmm.
just met you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agreed with what the mom said, and they just have to live and then be willing to make adjustments, but also let things go. I
There's
mean,
no way forward without that.
the things that they're dealing with are so minor. And I mean, I know that they seem huge because you're newly married, but
Yeah. Not even newly married, newly met.
yeah,
Like,
newly met, but for a marriage, I mean, her missing that thing that you had to go to, and just these are just such small things that are so huge for them that he's not letting go of.
has your has your opinion about them changed from the beginning to now? Because I remember in the beginning, you and a lot of other people did not
It
see it
was
for
annoying.
Kirsten.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that has changed? Not to that extreme. Like I don't think anybody would say, "Oh, I don't see it for Shaq." But how are you feeling about them now from the beginning
As
to
a couple, I still feel the same in
now?
that I didn't think that they would work. I figured they would say yes,
Hmm. Hmm.
but long term, I didn't see that they would work. Um, the little bit of progress that they did make, once I saw that Shaq was checking out, I knew it wasn't going to work because she wants someone who's putting an effort
Yeah.
to have her.
As
And
she
I don't,
should.
and
Yeah.
she should. Yeah, it's not a problem. And I don't see that from him.
Yeah.
Mm,
I think I feel the same way that I felt in the beginning where I was like, okay, she's not attracted to him yet, but I sense that she really wants to be in a good marriage and that she's willing
mhm,
to do what it needs to take, even like if the attraction isn't 100% there. Like I could see her being like, okay, what things do you need so that I'm seen as a good wife?
mhm.
So I think that's still true, and we're just seeing maybe more of what she's dealing with currently behind the scenes. So
And I don't think any of us would have thought like something would happen in terms of his schooling and him just being pulled in a lot of different directions. So I think it's amplified
yeah,
where I don't know, even if he didn't have these things going on, would things look different? I don't know, but it definitely does not help. I don't know if he has it in him to pour into this the way that he needs to.
I will say if I
So,
were her and if they decide to say yes, we would really have to have a deep conversation.
mhm,
Which I mean, I guess she's not really even getting the conversation she wants to have now. So good luck with this. But we would have a really deep conversation about prioritizing and about minimizing what you put on your plate at different times, because it seems so. Yes, the PhD thing, I think a lot of things could have happened to make that what it is,
Hmm.
but he not only has a job while he's getting the PhD, but it seems like he has a very aggressive job, and it seems like this is the most aggressive time for that job. And
Hmm.
so the question I would be asking is, okay, so you knew that this was an aggressive time in your life with your job, which is already intense, um, and you decided, knowing the timeline of the process, to still move ahead with it.
Yeah, even regular people
Yeah.
will postpone getting married if they have a lot of stuff going on. They're like, hey, we're just going to wait. And these are people who've been dating maybe for years,
Mhm.
just because when that time comes, you want to be able to give it the
Sure.
effort that it
Uh-huh.
deserves.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I still was saying, like, I don't know if he should have signed up. I understand people who have a lot going on, they still want to move forward in their life, but I just
Yeah.
don't think that it's fair.
If he if it weren't married at first sight, I would say, oh, absolutely, go ahead and get married. Like, no matter what's going on in your life, because life has a way of preventing you from doing the things that matter.
Hmm.
But because it's like a whole TV show, my main concern would be, okay, now that I am married to you, I want to make sure you're not in the future putting us in these predicaments where our relationship suffers because you're trying to get everything all at once.
Oh
So,
yeah. Are you pouring into the mentees and the
yeah.
school and the this and the that? And then we get the scraps of your time every day.
Okay.
Or am I here at the house raising the kids by myself because you're always gone?
She needs to get on the same page with that expeditiously. So
uh,
that is
yeah.
all that I think I have on. Oh, we have to talk about them going to that empty church. I was like, they looked good though. They looked so cute.
They
They
always look good. They
always
both,
present.
yeah, they clean up well to an empty church.
I thought that was hilarious. They
I
were
would
like,
have
we're still gonna
understood them
respect.
going to an actual church service and then maybe getting some footage of them walking out or
Yes.
brunch after and then having the conversation. But to rent a church empty
Not rich.
to go sit married at first sight.
They've done some things, but this one, beautiful church, beautiful building.
They look good. The building looks good. I would even have understood them meeting with maybe her pastor or his pastor or a pastor. Go find a TV pastor.
Bring back the people who married them. Shoot, like
Go hit up TD Jakes. Dallas isn't that far.
Devon, where was he?
Devon, where was
He's on the show already.
and he's a whole pastor, minister, whatever he is.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot.
That was just too funny. But I thought it was cute him buckling up her shoe when they were at the house. So they have cute moments, but I will say they're my favorite couple this entire season because they've given us a lot of interesting things to talk
Hmm.
about. And like some things that real couples probably go through,
Hmm.
other things that, just the process has brought up. But in the end, as much as I want them to stay together because I
Oh
like
yeah.
them individually, they have a lot to get on the same page about.
So you asked me if I
Mhm.
still felt the same. I guess, do you still feel the same with how you started about them?
Um, yeah, do I think they're gonna say yes? I think so,
Hmm.
but now I don't think that they should. I think it's a lot of stuff to get on the same page about, and I think if they do, did I say this last week? If they do, they need a therapist.
You did, yeah. I feel like you said it a few.
Well, I'm gonna say it again, as I mean it. if they do stay together, they definitely need it because it's a lot of like he has a lot to adjust. Like
Mhm.
I
I
think
said that last week. It would like he would have to
yeah,
change a lot for them to work.
yes. And I think in the beginning it seems like Kirsten would have to change a lot, but
Mhm.
I think she's been willing to fit into what the role is as long as she's getting what she needs. Whereas for him, I do think maybe, and not intentionally, just maybe subconsciously,
Mhm.
he had this idea of how a wife would fit into his life without understanding that he also would need to fit into her. Like these conversations that she's asking, you need to fit into her expectations a little bit too. So yeah, his whole mindset with work would have to change.
Yeah, I found the comment. That's what I was looking for. I wanted to
Oh,
make
you
sure we
did?
shout out the right person. It was
Okay.
Dawn Cohen. She
Okay.
said, I think both Kirsten and Shaq are very needy. They both want constant attention. Yeah.
Listen, I see it now more than ever. I see it now more than ever, Dawn. You are so right. So yeah.
Oh man. But
All
yeah,
right.
that was
Well,
all I
that's
had.
it. I wish they could have worked. And I still like Shaq as a person. I just don't know that he's ready for marriage right now. Which goes
Yeah.
back to remember at the beginning when one of her friends was saying, like, okay, so you didn't necessarily see marriage in your life right now, but the show came and you took that as an opportunity. And he was like, well, yeah, I knew it was something that I wanted to do, so why not? And we were like, okay, cool, understandable.
Hmm.
It's not as understandable now for me. Like I think I see what that friend was saying now. So
Yeah. Huh? All
all
right.
right. We will be here next week.
Yep.
Tomorrow we have a brand new podcast episode dropping on our YouTube channel, but also on all podcast platforms. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to our channel. Check out our episode tomorrow and all the other episodes that we have here on YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.